have you been to India?
Yes.
Have you test drove anything in India?
Yes, actually. But this was interestingly enough with my previous job before I joined this line. So,
Okay.
I was being shuttled. I was flown into Mumbai Airport.
Okay.
Then we went to Pune where the company's office is.
Mhm.
So on the way back, the company sent
This was when you were a journalist? Before journalist?
my previous before I joined
So
journalism.
this was as an engineer, an
in-
oil and gas
yeah,
engineer, right? Okay, yeah. Okay.
So my company was memang an Indian,
okay.
Indian punya company. So they were shuttling me to the airport, and I was sitting in the Tata Indica.
Mhm.
The driver was very slow.
Mhm.
So I was like, after a while, I got bored, right? I tell hey, can you let me drive? I just got so bored in the car. I tell, can you let me drive? Then he stunned, but he handed the keys to me, lah.
Mhm.
So I think I remember on the Indian highway, it was like the equivalent of our Plus Highway.
Okay.
Pretty decent, all right? I think I was driving about 100.
Okay. That's very
And
fast for India.
It was fast for him. He was visibly nervous.
People don't drive fast over there.
No. But once I reached Mumbai town, I was like, okay, dude, the keys are the car's yours, man. Take it from me.
Yeah, once the traffic in the cities.
Oh,
I mean, why I brought that up was many years ago, I went to India with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a work trip for me, but I was paying for the trip myself, and it was a holiday for him, so it was kind of a hybrid trip, right? So I went with him, and man, India, the traffic is insane. It's insane, and it's got really odd quirks, right?
Yep.
So one of the running jokes in India is also that if you can, when you buy a car, if you can get the car from the showroom to your house without a scratch, it's a miracle, right?
yeah.
It's, and you think, ha, it's a funny joke. Oh, yeah, it's a lot of traffic, right? And in India, when we are on the roads, you constantly see this like minor, not even accidents, right? It's just incidents,
Just
right?
bumps.
Yeah, like this, and like the Suzuki Swift is very popular in India. That's like your equivalent to a Honda Civic here, lah,
Yeah.
right? So you'll see a lot of this, like this working urbanites in their Swifts, and they have this auto rickshaws that'll go anywhere, right? This I guess tuk-tuks lah, similar to tuk-tuks, right? And just sitting in the car, traffic light, you'll see the auto turn this way and scratch the Swift, and they're in a traffic light, they can't go anywhere. The Swift guy gets down, yells at them, blah, blah, blah. And the guy yells back, blah, blah, get back in your car, life goes on, right? And that's one. So this kind of incidents is like so normal. They'll get out, they'll yell, they'll scream at each other, but there's no money being transferred, there's no insurance. It's just, hey, why did you scratch my car? You stupid, you're not seeing where you're going.
It's like one of the lepas geram like that, lah.
Yeah, and I tell you, I have a few of these stories that I can tell you, and it's quite entertaining, right? So that's one, right? And you see this exchange. Another observation I had is most cars don't have side mirrors, right?
Or they fold it in.
Yeah. So and when I asked my friends there, so they were saying that in India, when you buy a car, side mirrors are optional. You can ask if you want. Some cars come standard, and it is always kept folded.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, man, but how do you see on your sides? He's like, oh, in India, we travel by sound. Right? As a matter of fact, right? So if you have noticed, they are constantly honking, right? And most bus and trucks will have please honk.
Yeah, that was amusing.
Yeah, they'll have please honk at the back of it. So
no, please horn, thank you.
They're very polite, right? And when I was talking to this person was a bit, I guess, a bit more observant than most. So when he was telling this to me, right, it made a lot of sense. He's saying that there's just so much chaos on the road, you alone cannot navigate it. So it is actually a group effort in the sense that if I'm overtaking somebody on the right, I'm horning to let that guy know, hey, I'm on the right.
Yeah.
So if you are driving, when you hear a horn on the right, say, oh, okay, somebody's on the right. So you don't actually have to look, right? And that's why they're constantly beeping and saying, it's almost like, hey, I'm here, look at me, I'm here, right? So they're kind of like
Yeah.
almost sonar.
It's from a Malaysian perspective, people go, "Hey, what's wrong with these people?" But
Yeah,
once you just detach yourself and observe, these guys are the honk is actually a hello. It's
yeah, and it is not offensive in Malaysia. If you horn at someone, it is offensive.
Yes,
right.
yes.
It's, oh, why are you horning at me? Right. Even I go to a guardhouse or so, I want to tell them, no, I'm so hesitant to horn, because it's in our culture, it's seen as offensive.
Yes,
right?
yes.
In their culture, it is the driving culture. When you drive in India, you're just announcing that you're
Yes,
there.
yes.
Look, I'm going to overtake you here. Watch out. Right? It is not saying, hey, stupid driver, don't know how to drive. It's none of that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And also, the main reason they fold their side mirrors in is because if your side mirror is out, it's going to get knocked out.
Exactly. Yes, yes.
Because they're always nipping in and nipping out, right? It's going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fantastic. And the most extreme example was one of these nights I was like drunk. We went out drinking, and we had a driver who was sending us back, and I was the last one to get dropped off. So I was alone in the car sitting at the back, and he was in it. This was maybe like 2-3 a.m., right? Driving on the streets of India. Okay, India is very big. This was in Madras, right? Chennai, down south. And the streets were empty. I was very drunk, right? And this driver he'll drive, horn, beep, beep, beep. Then every time he beeps, I keep looking at the road in front. I see the road's empty. And after like 10 minutes of this, I was like, Bhaiya, please, why are you still horning? There's no cars, right? And his reply is, oh, you never know when somebody might run across the road. So it is not so much, he is not, the mindset is different, right? It is not like I'm scolding somebody, hey, don't run across the road. He's announcing himself,
Yeah.
hey, I'm here on the road, don't run across it. Right?
Yeah,
I'm driving on the road.
Yeah.
So I would say it's almost a mindset, right?
Yeah.
Because we use the horn here to
Lepas geram.
it's to kind of like
to
kind of like
tell people off.
It's to correct. It's like, hey, why did that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas they use the horn to
just let people know that we are here.
And I'll tell you one more story about India, which I thought was so fascinating about the roads there, right, is that we were in we went up to Bangalore. There was 3 of us. And another guy was about my size, and another friend of mine was probably half my size, right? The reason why I say the 3 sizes is when we got in Bangalore, when we got there, we supposed to take a taxi to the hotel.
Yep.
And the other big guy was actually a local.
Yeah.
So, and he was like, "Oh, no way, we are paying for a taxi. We are going to take an auto, right?" And I was like, "Dude, have you seen my size? Have you seen your size?" And then we have another friend with us, and he's like, "And we have big bags. We were carrying luggage, right? How the hell are we going to fit in an auto? Don't worry about it, right? Oh, we are taking auto. There's no way I'm paying for a taxi." I was like, "Why not? Fine, you're the expert, you're the local, right?" And he got us an auto. We got onto the auto, and I was like not convinced. We were like, if you have seen an auto, the wheels are like, like
it's probably smaller than that fan.
Yeah, and so we were on the auto, and we were moving not very fast. And sure enough, we were approaching a big roundabout. The auto tire blew, right? The tire blew on my side. No coincidence there, right? So we had to get down. Okay, so there was chaos. The roundabout was full, so we got down. We were getting down from the auto. As we were getting down, I was looking at the roundabout. An auto was turning, a car or a van was coming, and then they got into each other's way. They knocked each other. The auto is a 3-wheeler, right? So it just collapsed. It went on the side. It fell on the side. There was a passenger in there. It was a guy. So we were witnessing on the side of the road. It was a huge roundabout. Not like our roundabouts here. It's a huge roundabout. Maybe there's like 4-5 lanes, right? My auto guy saw the accident. He immediately just ran across traffic when there. That auto guy got up. The car guy got down from the car. The passenger was still in the auto, stood up in the auto or sideways, right? All 4 of these guys picked up the auto, put it the right side up. They exchanged words. Stupid lie, stupid whatever, right? They all got back in the auto. My guy, after lifting the auto, came back here. The driver got into the car. The auto and the passenger continued on the journey. The car continued on the journey. The guy came back here. And then we got another auto. We continued the journey. There was no chaos. If that had happened in Malaysia,
Oh,
or even in Singapore,
yeah.
not just a collision, the balik with passenger inside, the passenger will be like in trauma.
Yeah,
Over there, chaos is such a norm.
yeah.
It was beautiful to see. In
There
the
was-
sense that it's like I couldn't compute it, right?
There's that order somehow in that chaos.
Yeah, that car vehicle went to the side.
Yeah.
And everybody picked themselves up. I got places to be, people to see, and they went. Yes, they exchanged words, lah. Nobody threw a punch. Nobody was yelling, banging, nothing. It's like in India, I think a very popular saying over there is, "Have you informed your house?" It's like saying, "Hey, have you told somebody you're going to die today?" It's like a weird joke-ish kind of. It's a diss.
Yeah.
So those kind of words were thrown across, like, you told your family area that you're doing, you're going to kill yourself today by doing these stupid things, right? But that's it. And man, that's, we see as such a chaotic driving. Oh my God, I can't believe people can drive in that environment. But when something like that happens, if it happens in KL, stand still.
Man. That time when I was in India, I think I was there for 5 or 7 days. I was so amazed I did not witness one accident, or even the aftermath of an accident.
Or the accident happened and you just couldn't see it
Maybe,
because it was
maybe.
so fast.
Maybe. How in sometimes our roads, right, we occasionally curse at the motorcycle coming the opposite direction. When I was there, I saw a whole lorry coming. Those construction lorries coming. And nobody made a fuss about it. Everybody just, okay.
Okay, before somebody says that we are kind of like dissing India a lot, I just want to make it very clear. Number one, I love India. Number two, I am Indian. I am from India.
Yeah. I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, I am actually from India.
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm just nostalgic. If anything.
No,
else.
I think we are describing it as it is, as it was, as we saw it. And I have a lot of not say in India Indian friends. I have a lot of Malaysian Indian friends. A lot of us our mutual acquaintances too.
Yeah.
So I have quite a fascination with the Indian culture myself.
No, I tell you, even when it comes to just the driving, some of the things that I can't wrap my head around in India, and when Mohan was there, it was the same trip. I realized that Indian roads had chicanes. Like how you have a chicane in a F1 track to slow down traffic, right? So they build these really big roads, right? And they realize that people go too fast on it.
Yeah.
So they literally put barriers.
Yeah.
Sometimes right in the middle of the road, no?
Yeah.
And there'll be a police guy standing behind a metal barrier. So literally, it's a highway. You're driving. Suddenly, there's a barrier in the middle of the road, and you have to drive around it just to slow down traffic. And they have left-right chicanes as well. In some roads where they just put up a barrier here, put up a barrier there, so you have to make a difficult turn just to discourage people from going. That idea is for me, it's an insane idea, but it works.
It works.
It works, but
it's actually better than speed bump and what you call that, and rumble strips.
Yeah, there's in India, the prevailing. So there's a prevailing ideology that people power is an ideology. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, right? But there's a prevailing idea among the masses that the power is with the people, right? So if you are in the right, you can fight for it in a sense. So some of the, I think the explanations I've heard was they are against like even speed bumps and rumble strips is because it damages the car.
Exactly.
And it's costing us money.
It does. And
it is wear and tear. So why do we? So technically, these chicanes and stuff is not damaging to the car unless you ram into one.
It's chicane. The speed bumps and rumble strips are particularly hazardous for motorcycles in the wet.
Oh man, I can imagine, bro.
Because there is, especially rumble strips, right? It's tarmac and then there's a strip of paint,
Yeah.
different
No
roughness.
traction. Yeah.
Yeah, in four wheels it causes a bit of suspension wear and tear, but in two wheels it affects the dynamics and balance of the motorcycle.
So so maybe they do have a point.
Yeah.
Right. But I wouldn't say I think the extreme example is sometimes you will find that there's a literal tree in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And I was like, so there's tarmac, tree in the middle, and tarmac all around it, and there's lanes on both sides of the tree.
You just have to drive around it lah.
Yeah, and I was like, what the hell is this? Why is there a tree in the middle of the road? Like, if this was Malaysia, people would be knocking into it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, because the tree was here for hundreds of years before we were here, or before the road was built. So what is it? Why must a tree pay the price, and why must you chop down the tree for the road? The tree was here before the road.
God, that is just so profound.
They do have there's a little bit of, I know it's Indian and Chinese, a little bit of Zen.
I think right, in India, from what I observe, it's a bit more, the land is a bit more, it's not as lush as what we are blessed with here in Malaysia. So there are fewer trees there to start with, so I think maybe they are more appreciative of it.
I don't know if there's a scarcity, but definitely in the cities it's way overpopulated, overcrowded, and but they do have a sense of attachment to nature. They have a sense of respect.
Yeah.
In the sense that they I don't know, they see as, hey, we breathe oxygen from the trees.
I think that's something that we all can learn.
Yeah, but I must say it's man, for somebody who's used to like our driving system and our road system, seeing a tree in the middle of the road was just
mind-blowing, right?
Mind-blowing. And I think that if you work in the fact that they don't by default drive fast, and there's this little organized chaos that works, that they know how to make it work, then in that context everything works. You bring that here, if you bring us there, oh man, it's going to need some adjustment.
Yep.
But again, I'm just saying it is so different, right? What we assume, compared ourselves to the Europeans and then even to India, man, the driving experience is like so insanely different.
Yeah.
I just wonder how road tests are. How would you do a road test on Indian roads?
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
But I've heard of this billionaire sons and daughters of Indians where they drive on like some horrible Indian roads. They drive their SLS, and when the SLR first came out, apparently there was some billionaire kid driving around and just slamming the suspension into the ground, and so I mean, I guess you can drive fast, whether you can
the
car.
I learned that in India, a Honda City is a chauffeur-driven car.
Oh, dude, you'll be surprised. In India, I think most people who afford cars tend to have drivers. Yeah, so even like in India, I think Maruti is like the Daihatsu equivalent, right?
Yeah.
Here's the Maybach equivalent. So their cars are not big. So like their Maruti cars, some of the small cars you can compare, it's like almost not even a Maybach. Maybach is big, maybe a Viva.
Yeah.
Right. So even those cars will have drivers. So in the sense that we kind of attach, you must have a luxury car before you need to at least have a Camry or a Accord.
Yeah.
Before you have a driver.
I think even if somebody hires a driver for a C class, we will also give them a one-kind look.
Yeah. Yes, you're absolutely right. But in India, it is, I suppose, labor is also a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Right. So most households, I'll say middle class households in India, they'll have a few helpers. So the person who cleans, the person who cooks, and then they'll have a driver for the house. And for us, by our norm, seems like, it is very wealthy if you have a driver. In Malaysia, if you have a driver, you're very wealthy.
Yeah.
But over there, yes, I mean they're definitely not poor, but it's like a middle class kind of deal. Yeah, because the wealthy over there is, oh man, it's just wealthy lah. I mean, there's no comparison now. I think the closest comparison is probably you can do Indonesia comparison.
Yeah.
Like the wealthy in these countries are literally living like kings and queens.
Yeah. Their wealth is off the scale.
Yeah, but you're right though. I mean, that's another observation, right? In the sense that for them it's having a car is just to get to point A to point B, right?